Welcome to the Fabric Podcast, where we explore company culture and how it scales as a company grows. Brought to you by the team at The Receptionist, a bootstrapped, Denver-based software company. Each episode of Fabric will set out to uncover unique and uncommon answers to the question, how do companies of any size create a culture and core values that employees actually live out? On this episode of the Fabric Podcast, we're joined by the marketing team. Yes, you heard that right. We now have a team. It's not just Michael Ashford, Director of Marketing. We now have Kayla Hollenbaugh, who is our Digital Campaigns Manager. We're so excited to have her here. And on the episode, we talk about what drew Kayla to the position here at The Receptionist, why she was such a good fit from Michael and the team standpoint, and what she's going to be focusing on in the role. And as always, we talk about our culture and values of Fabric, how Kayla has seen that play out, why that was so important to her to join a company that had such clear values, and what they're going to be up to as they collaborate together as a team. Stick around and enjoy the episode. Well, I am so excited to have on the show Michael and our newest team member, Kayla. How are you both doing today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that we can get Kayla on the show.
Yeah, right?
I know. So Kayla, welcome. First official podcast recording. It's great to have you here. So before we get into things, just share with us really briefly what you've most enjoyed since joining the team and how long have you been with us now?
Yeah. So my start date was the first week of October, I believe. So just over 3 months. So, it feels like it's been even shorter than that. It's gone by in the blink of an eye. I've had such a good time just kind of fitting in with the team and kind of working with everyone, not just Michael. And, obviously that's been a huge part of my first months is working with Michael and kind of getting ramped up on all of the marketing campaigns. But, I kind of just jumped in with everyone when I started. I worked with the customer experience team on automation on our chatbots and the sales team. We worked on some Salesforce and HubSpot stuff together. So that's been really great. I kind of just got my feet wet immediately. I wasn't really treated like the new kid. I was just immediately a valued part of the team. So that was really fun.
Yeah, well, and for anyone who's listened to us for a while, we go through quite a process when we're hiring to make sure that the person is the right fit. And really, you can just sort of hit the ground running because of not just your skill set, but how you fit into our team. So Michael, now that you actually have a team member, what has been most fun about now you're a marketing team?
Yeah, that we're actually a team now. And just so the listeners know, Kayla is our Digital Campaigns Manager. I don't believe we said her title, but yeah, she's the first hire that I've had or I've gotten to make here at the Receptionist. So the question was, what makes her, what did we see in Kayla? Is that right?
Well, first of all, what's been most fun about having a team member? And then we're going to talk about why she was the right team member.
Yeah.
Bring all that fun.
It is at the high level, it's just having another marketing voice in the room, right? I mean, it's, as much as we do collaborate across departments and across teams here, that's always fun. But just having somebody who day in and day out is focused on marketing and creating the story that is The Receptionist, that's exciting just to have her when we're in the office. She's sitting right next to me. I could just say, "Hey, Kayla, what do you think about this?" And I love having that back and forth that we've already established.
Yeah, and you make a good point that we really do work collaboratively here at The Receptionist, and everyone is involved in the other departments. But yeah, it must be nice now to have someone who is focused on marketing. And that's their wheelhouse and their background. So Kayla, tell us a little bit more about your background and then what attracted you to the role here at The Receptionist.
Yeah. So I've been working in marketing for over 4 years now, ever since I graduated college. I originally kind of started out as a content writer, focused mainly on, writing blog posts and emails. And then at my first role, I kind of jumped into the marketing technology side. And I loved that. And I loved combining the content with the campaign management and the technology. And it just provides such an opportunity to be creative and problem solve. And I just kind of loved that marketing really covers such a breadth of things. It's not just, you come in and you know what you're doing that day. It's always you have the creativity to make a new campaign or to try something new out. So I really saw that in the role specifically at The Receptionist. It was the first marketing hire after Michael, and I could see that whoever was going to be in this role, and I was hoping it was going to be me, but whoever was going to be in this role would have freedom and be empowered to kind of come up with these new digital campaigns and run them from start to finish. And, not only be empowered to come up with them, but not to be afraid to try out things that may not work out in the end, but understanding that, every campaign and everything that you run, even if it doesn't get exactly the results that you're expecting, it's a learning experience, right? So I really got that not only from the job description, but from the whole interview process was, this is a role that I can kind of make my own and become a member of that team that really is growing from the ground up. So that was super exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not the only one who's been on the show who's kind of talked about that there's ideas, but then there's this flexibility, and you really can take it and run with it and make it into your own role while supporting the company. So, Michael, now you get to talk about it. Why was Kayla the right fit? And can you give us any behind the scenes insight into why the larger team felt Kayla would be such a good fit? I don't know if maybe she's heard any of this yet, but give us some insight into why you all felt like Kayla would be, someone who would fit in, not just with the job description, but our culture and our values here at The Receptionist.
Yeah, from an experience standpoint, I mean, you just heard her answer in terms of her background. The role, we're looking for somebody to just take management of our campaigns. That's something that up to, Kayla started almost 2 years to the day as when I started. And up to that point, we'd done campaigns, we'd done outbound stuff. We'd worked on a lot of different marketing channels, like we've talked about on the podcast before. But to have somebody who is dedicated to creating campaigns that are, of our voice, of our message, that are multi-channel, that are multi-touch, that are driving people to become aware of us, and then, B, work their way to hopefully doing business with us. Kayla had not only the experience, but she had experience working at an agency where she was doing that with many different companies, many different sectors and different industries. And we sell into many different sectors and industries and market segments. And so from an experience standpoint, like she had the thing that we were looking for. She also talked about her technical background. We were looking for somebody who could help us with the HubSpot management and the Salesforce management. On the other side of things, the more intrinsically value-driven side of things, I mean, I would just highlight the fact that she has from day one, like inserted herself into the company and just like flourished, whether that is, she's sitting on the couch with everyone kind of laughing and having fun, the F in fabric fun, while we're doing work. We had the couch in the office that people kind of congregate around and work from. But then going and collaborating with those teams, going in, and we saw that level of collaboration in the interview process. We saw her willingness to do that. The questions she asked were around that collaboration and that growth of herself and her skill set and her career. So yeah, it's been phenomenal. Like I love having Kayla on the team for so many different reasons, but the fact that she has so well fit herself into the team and bought into what Fabric stands for, like she's as much an embodiment of that as anyone else on the team.
That's awesome. Kayla,
did I make you blush too much?
How is it to sit there and listen to all this good stuff that, I don't know if the team has shared with you?
I mean, they haven't. Michael, I think after my first week, he was like, you're fitting right in with the team. And I definitely agreed, but it's really great to hear. Yeah, you're right. I'm blushing over here.
Well, and something else that I want to make mention that I think people who listen to this podcast might get value from is, and we've seen this with every candidate really that we've hired over the last couple of years, is that they went above and beyond in that job search process, that interview process, to really understand us and our product as a company. So Kayla was showing up on webinars as an attendee, or some folks actually sign up for a free trial and chat with our customer support team, Hannah or Jessica or Sam on the sales side. So it's that next step of interest that, folks like Kayla and folks like Tom, our director of sales, like they've done that part. And if you really want a job, like show us that you really want a job, right?
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. As you both were talking, yeah, it jumped out to me too when we talked to Tom, our director of sales, about his hiring process. And he's been with the company for a while now. But the first time I had him on the podcast, it was like, gosh, Tom, it feels like you've been here forever.
Yeah.
And I think we had him on right as he got hired. And I mean, he felt like a team member. So I think that's something that, yeah, is consistent, is how the candidates that get hired go above and beyond, really learn about the company, are passionate about the same things that we are. And there's something about them that it feels like a good fit, which
Yeah.
is so very important. So, Michael, why was the timing right now to start building out the marketing team? We talked with Andy, our president and CEO, a while back about the plans for growing the company and what that's going to look like into 2021. But why did it feel like right now was a good time to be growing the marketing team, and a little bit more about what Kayla will actually get to work on?
Well, as Andy has said, we have really big growth goals.
Yeah.
And we're not shy about sharing those. We're not shy about what those goals are. One of the things that we have done so well, and Jessica, our director of customer experience, has been a huge champion of this, is being as efficient as possible with the tools that we have, with the staff that we have. And we have an outsourced CFO company that we work with, a finance company that we work with, who they've come to us over the last year and said, look, you guys are remarkably efficient with the staff that you have. We're at the point where the next lever to kind of twist here or pull is you got to start hiring more staff. Mm-hmm. And from a marketing perspective, and I hate using that phrase, but from a marketing perspective, it is just me. It has been just me for 2 years. And with the growth that we need to see to meet our goals, it was time to have somebody dedicated to exactly what we just talked about in Kayla's role. Thinking of campaigns, thinking of time bound, well drawn out, well thought out digital campaigns that are multi-touch, multi-channel, that are based on a theme or based on a market segment that we're really focused on. Somebody to just go in and own that. And from all the things that I hope to do with the marketing team over the next couple of years to help us meet our growth goals, having Kayla in that role, having this role to focus on that side of our marketing efforts, is it. We just had to. It was such a needed position.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now, yeah, you can focus, not you, but the team can focus on more, and you can tackle more things. As we were getting ready to prep this episode, you mentioned something about the StoryBrand process that you've been working on. So Kayla, you want to tell us a little bit about that? And then Michael can maybe share a little bit more.
Yes. So the StoryBrand process is kind of a way of framing your branding. And I had never actually come across it until I started. And Michael handed me a StoryBrand book. And it's a way of marketing where you don't posit yourself as the hero, you posit your customer as the hero. So the customer is going through their own story, right? And everyone believes that they are the hero of their own story. So it's, how can we frame the receptionist as someone that will help you find success and will guide you to something, instead of saying, oh, we're the best company, you need to work with us, kind of framing the customer as the hero and not us. So it's a really exciting kind of way of talking about your brand and your company. And I came in kind of halfway through the process. I know that there had been a team at the Receptionist from not just Michael in sales, but people all across the company who had expressed an interest in taking part in forming our own StoryBrand. And so they had already had some meetings and some brainstorms around how we would fit this into our company. But it was great to kind of come in and be that fresh new set of eyes and really sit down with Michael and have, we have one-on-one brainstorms before we meet with that larger StoryBrand team. And we can kind of really refine different phrases and different ways of expressing things before we go into those larger brainstorms. And it's been really great to just bounce ideas off of each other in those meetings.
Yeah, that sounds so interesting. And Michael, it sounds like there's a lot of collaboration in this StoryBrand process that Kayla just described.
100%. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about when I said having another marketer in the room. Like, I'm not going through this process all just in my head and then sharing it with the team and saying, what do you think? It's exactly like Kayla said. We're sitting down, and just the fun that we have in coming up with what our story brand is. And the book is by Donald Miller. If anybody who's listening wants to check out that book. It's a phenomenal book. It's StoryBrand, and we're almost done. We're almost through that process of creating what our StoryBrand is. But just having Kayla there to, hey, this is what I thought of the first go round on this.
Mhm.
How do we iterate on this? How do we now, based on the input that we got from the larger team, the StoryBrand team that we've got, how do we sit down and collaborate on what this looks like? And the next part of it, once we get it done, is okay, we go and take that new message framework of what our story is and the customer is the hero, and start to change our website, start to change our social media, start to change our our sales templates and the thing, just everything where our message resides. Like, we get to start the process of updating that. We get to. I don't know if that's going to be as fun as I'm making it sound right now.
I think
It sounds like it will be fun. I mean, you'll make it fun.
In some ways. We'll try. But it is. It's been an entirely collaborative effort across the board. And we've been working on it for several months, like Kayla said, even before she started 3 months ago. And again, it's having Kayla to sit down and having another marketing voice in the room with her experience, her background. It's made the process so much more, it's better, but more fun too.
Yeah. And so we're talking about some of our core values, fun, collaboration. It's also very bold just to be like, you know what, we're going to kind of start over in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We're going to redo everything. So our values of Fabric. Kayla, what have been your initial experiences or maybe stories of how you've seen Fabric play out since you joined The Receptionist?
Yeah, certainly. I think you mentioned bold in just before, saying, we're not afraid to kind of start over and try new things. And that's also showing up in the innovative. When I came in right before a new quarter, and each quarter we each have rocks that follow a specific theme. So a rock is like a goal that we want to accomplish over the course of one quarter that will help get us closer to our larger company goals. And the theme of the rocks for the fourth quarter was kind of, can you break something? Can you change something and make it better? And maybe you don't make it better, but you try and you learn something from that process. So, I came in and my rocks were focused around the webinars, and I saw that we were running replay webinars that were recordings of the live sneak peek webinars that we do weekly with Tom and Michael. Tom is our director of sales. And he kind of walks through the product and does a demo and shows everyone how the receptionist works, both on the front and back end. And I, saw an opportunity. We were running these replay webinars weekly as well, and they weren't getting the kind of engagement that the live webinars were running. So, I sat down with Michael and we worked collaboratively on that and said, hey, what if we try just uploading a recording of one of our, really successful live webinars and then gating that on the sneak peek webinar page and having that as a way for people to come in, and maybe if they don't have the time or the opportunity to come see a live webinar, they can just sign up right then and there and see the video straight away and not have to wait for that replay. So it was kind of that, I could come in and see an opportunity and sit down with Michael and we could work through it together and find a solution that's been really successful for us so far. I checked this morning, we've had 45 people sign up to watch that on-demand webinar since I started it last quarter. So that was an awesome thing to get to do.
That's great. Congratulations on that. I bet Michael's really excited about that too. Now, obviously, through the hiring process, you become very understanding and clear on what our values are, right? It's obvious from the beginning. It's something that is a part of who we are. But Michael, when a new person joins the team, is there anything else that's done related to Fabric to help them either understand it more or, celebrate the person, have fun? Like, is there anything direct, like, here's your Fabric training? I would imagine is not how it goes, but is there anything that, kind of the team does when someone new comes on to help expose them more and deepen that understanding of Fabric?
No, nothing, set in stone. I mean, obviously, as part of the onboarding, you go through onboarding with a bunch of different team members. You get a chance to sit down with Andy and learn about the direction of the company from the time that he took over, and he gets into Fabric. Certainly, I think it's just from the moment you start, the daily living out of every single one of those qualities. I mean, from day one, we threw Kayla into collaborating with the sales team, and we threw Kayla into, hey, you're less than a week into your time here, but create a rock for yourself for this quarter and tell us something that we need to tear down and start over with. Fun. She got to pick out a office plant, I think. And I also think, wasn't it, Kayla, we had the Topgolf event like your second week here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all went to Topgolf and got to do that. So it's just you experience it right from the get-go. There's nothing formal in place about it. It's just
it's just who we are, right? So
it's the authentic. It's the authentic. The A in fabric. It's this is how we live every single day.
Yeah. And Kayla, what's it been like to join a company with not only such clear values that they talk about, but that they do actually live out, right? It's not just lip service in the hiring process. It really is who we are and what we do, and it's in everything. So how has that been for you?
It's been amazing. Honestly, you can tell from the first step of the hiring process how much the receptionist cares about the fabric values. One of the questions that you get asked when you submit your resume is, what of our core values stands out to you the most and why? And that really stuck out to me because usually on a job application, you just send a cover letter and a resume and you're done. But this was really asking you to look up our values and see what you resonate with. And, are you going to be a great fit for our team? So from the first step, it's such a big thing. And I was really attracted to that when I was applying for jobs. And then, like Michael said, it's just kind of who we are. We embody it every day. We don't have to wake up and be like, okay, how can I be fun today? Or how can I be bold today? It's just what we come to work and do. And I think that as a new person kind of stepping into that, because everyone else is so authentically, living out fabric, it's so easy to just become part of that team and step into that and just kind of mirror what everyone around you is doing. So it's been great to kind of see, we live out these values and we care about them so much that it's just second nature at this point.
And Kayla has introduced us to Party Parrot in Slack. So,
oh, yes, okay. Well, you're gonna have to give us more insight into that. Maybe we'll have a secrets episode or something, where we kind of dig in a little more. Well, to wrap this up, now that you are a marketing team, any final thoughts from our team of marketers?
I'll just say this is only the beginning. I mean, we're in the works of hiring on another new position, a creative manager. So somebody to produce all the amazing stuff that Kayla is then going to take and send out to the world, and a lot of other initiatives that we've got going on. But yeah, it is 2020 is going to be an incredible year of growth for the company in terms of just the numbers and our company goals. But then as a team, I mean, we're very quickly running out of space. But
right,
as a marketing team, I am excited that there was a point where, when I came on board and the receptionist finally had somebody dedicated full time to marketing, you can very clearly see in the stats the difference that made in terms of, driving traffic to the site, driving leads, driving, free trials and activations. And not to toot my own horn on that. That's just when you have somebody dedicated to that role and it is their job and their focus day in and day out, that's what you expect to see. And that's what I expect to see moving forward with another role in marketing and then having another role in marketing, is that we just see those points in time where we can point back to this person's making a difference.
Well, it's okay to toot your own horn here. And I'm sure at some point we're going to have Kayla toot her own horn for all the awesome things she already did, right? All these awesome things that are happening. So Kayla, any final thoughts on your first episode of the podcast?
No, it's been great to be here and kind of sit and talk with you both. And just to reiterate what Michael said, 2020 is so exciting, both for the marketing team and the company as a whole. And I'm so excited to kind of just get started and get creative and get down to business.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to a great 2020 and beyond. Kayla, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. And Michael, as always, great to have you.
Thank you much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Well, another big welcome to Kayla for joining the receptionist team. And we look forward to seeing how the marketing team grows and evolves from here. If you'd like to learn more about the receptionist, don't forget we have a 2-week free trial, no credit card required, at thereceptionist.com.